Help me understand why you're still taking in Tiffany Henyard type money.
There's a law on the books that we cannot change anybody's salary.
A lawmaker in Springfield proposed a bill to restore the higher salary structure. His name? State Senator Napoleon Harris.
Son of a, there's actually an ordinance that says you can't just go changing someone's salary like that. It's the law. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Don't shoot the messenger. I didn't write the law. Oh, wait, yes I did. I swear, I couldn't make this up if I tried. I'm not even that creative. Hey, yo, it's your celeb news. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and of course, get down in the comments. Tell me what you think about this whole mess. So, Tiffany's gone. Okay, mission accomplished. I don't even know how many times I can say it. Mission accomplished, right? We should be celebrating, right? The super mayor, the so-called Queen of Dalton, has been knocked down about 12,000 pegs. She's out. She's done. Problem solved, right? Wrong. Because, as you can see, these folks have already replaced her. And oh boy, they're thrilled about it. Now, I had my own feelings about how exactly this man got into position. Let's just say it made me question a bit about his character, or maybe the lack of it. You get what I'm saying. But he's here now. It's done. So, Dalton's got a new mayor. And you know what? Him, I actually approve of. Of him, I do. Of that whole cast of new characters, I approve 100%, no doubts. So at least Dalton's looking good for now. But Thornton Township? That's a whole different story. Thornton Township, looking real strange these days. So who do they have now? They went and elected this guy, Napoleon Harris. Maybe you've heard of him. Apparently, he used to be an athlete. Now he's a state senator, he's a commissioner. Oh, and he's now the new Thornton Township Supervisor. Man's got more jobs than a Jamaican uncle. Old joke, but you get it. He got many, many jobs, okay? So here he is now, toting around this waterway talking about he's ready to work. He's here to serve. But I don't know how he's going to juggle all these jobs at once. Something's going to slip through the cracks. It always does. Anyway, here's where it gets interesting. So, if you didn't know, when Tiffany Henyard, yes, our infamous super mayor, was in charge at Thornton Township, her salary was sky high. Why? Because she wasn't just elected fresh. She was finishing out the term of the previous supervisor who'd been sitting in that seat for over 10 years. His salary had crept up to over $200,000 a year. So when she stepped in, she inherited that paycheck. But if a brand new person steps in fresh, like Napoleon Harris just did, the ordinance says her salary resets. It's supposed to drop back down to something like $50,000. So he comes in after making all this noise about how she had to go, right? He kicks her out, big campaign about cleaning house, doing things right, returning honesty to local government. But now, wouldn't you know it, something's up with the salary. The news is about to tell us what's really happening. So, okay, WGN Channel 9, break it down for us. What's Napoleon Harris up to now? I'm sure, absolutely sure, it's nothing shady, right? There's no way there's anything sneaky or self-serving going on here. Because that's not how he got into office at all, right? Right, sure. Stay tuned, because the story is far from over.
WGN investigates payday for Tiffany Henyard's replacement in the south suburbs. The township salary ordinance says a first-term supervisor should be paid $57,000.
So why is the new supervisor still bringing home six figures? As WGN investigative reporter Ben Bradley found, the elected official's other job helped pave the way.
Ooh. Guy's a former NFL player. It doesn't take two security guards. Give me a break, man.
Napoleon Harris did not appear eager to talk to me.
And how would you use your discretion to implement it within the current legal framework?
In the now sleepy room where months earlier, a board meeting ended in a brawl,
the man who replaced Tiffany Henyard as Thornton Township Supervisor has apparently ditched the drama, and most of the scrutiny, too. But can we talk about this walk for a second? I don't want to be petty, I really don't. But what is this walk? I've never seen anything like it. If you're watching this for the first time, you and I are in the same boat, because I didn't preview this clip. I wanted my reaction to be as fresh as yours. If you know anything about me, you know this is how my brain works. I need to process it live. But seriously, why is he walking like that? He looks like he's carrying the weight of all his future crimes on his back. Why is he moving like he's dragging secrets down the street? But whatever, like I said, I don't want to nitpick. And did y'all see this other guy? This man in the suit, leaning on that pole like it's a life raft. Sir, you are security? He's leaning with his whole soul pressed into that pole, like that thing can handle it. I'm not trying to pick on him either, but come on now. He already fell over once. People had to help him up. How's he supposed to chase anyone down? How is the security? But again, whatever. This isn't about that. I'm not here to pick at these little things. Funny as they are, we're here for the real question. What's going on with this paycheck Napoleon Harris is getting? Because there's a smell coming out of Thornton Township lately, and it ain't right. Something scammy's drifting out of there. So, stick around, because I promise you, the salary situation is about to get real interesting real quick.
I thought maybe we have gotten rid of the storms.
Jennifer and Paul Roberts are skeptical of Harris's leadership.
A lot of people in Thornton Township fought for transparency, accountability, and responsiveness in government, and we haven't really seen that yet.
Yeah, you're not going to. And let me tell you exactly why. Because you were so busy trying to get Tiffany out that you didn't stop for even a second to think about where you were headed next. Here's a little life lesson. If you've never heard this before, you're hearing it now, straight from Mama J9. It's not enough just to run away from something bad. It matters where you're running to. You all were so laser focused on getting rid of Tiffany Henyard that when this man swooped in with his shady maneuvering to scoop up that position, nobody cared enough to look at what it said about him. You didn't think twice about the fact that he was willing to pull some slick, sneaky moves to get there, moves that, honestly, he didn't even need to make. If you look at how few people actually showed up to vote for her for mayor, what was it, like 30 votes? He didn't have to do all that. He didn't just want Tiffany to lose. He wanted that seat for himself. And now we all get to see exactly why. He put himself right in position, thanks, in part, to one of his other jobs. See, that's where it starts to get messy. It gets weird real quick. And now the real skepticism starts swirling around his paycheck. So, help me understand this. Why is he still pulling in Tiffany Henyard? Level money. There's this ordinance, right? Or so he says. An ordinance that says you can't change someone's salary. That's what he's telling people now. But let's break down how that law came to be, because of the masterclass in political games. See, Tiffany Henyard was making $222,000 a year plus her little perks, while finishing out the term of the last supervisor, who'd been in office forever. But if you're stepping in fresh like Harris did, the salary ordinance says you're supposed to make about $57,000 plus expenses. That's it. Basic first-term supervisor pay. But oh, Tiffany's grip on power started slipping, right? WGN started dropping those bombshell reports about how she was spending public money, like monopoly cash. So, right when she was on the ropes, guess what happened? A lawmaker in Springfield proposed a bill to keep that big old supervisor's salary locked in place for whoever came next. And who was that clever little lawmaker? State Senator Napoleon Harris. Yeah, our same new supervisor. Son of a... I swear, does this man have an evil villain laugh? Because I feel like he does. I want to hear it. I need to hear what Napoleon's evil laugh sounds like. Picture it. Mwaha? That's the vibe I'm getting. He sits there with a straight face saying, there's an ordinance, says you can't change somebody's salary. It's the law. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I didn't write the law. Sir, excuse me. Yes, you did. Yes, you absolutely did. You proposed it. You crafted it like a fine little scam. I couldn't make this up if I tried. I wish I was that creative, but I'm not quite there yet. So let's hear it again, shall we? Play it back. One more time for the folks in the back. Here he is explaining why he's cashing Tiffany-level checks. There's an ordinance that says we can't change a salary. Oh, that's interesting. A convenient little ordinance. And the lawmaker who cooked it up to protect that higher salary? That would be our multitasking state senator/supervisor, Napoleon Harris. Even before he officially got the supervisor seat, he was already planting the seeds to keep that salary sky high, locking in that perk for himself. But here's the twist. His bill didn't pass. It died in Springfield. So, what law are you talking about, Napoleon? Because the actual state law says if you're a new supervisor, you don't get to just inherit the big salary from the last guy. It resets. That's how the ordinance works. So help me understand this. What law are you quoting now? Because I looked it up and that thing never became law. It never passed. It never made it out alive. So unless you found some magic backdoor to keep it alive, your ordinance is dead on arrival. When asked about it, he's up there stammering like a kid who didn't do his homework. Well, there's a law, there's a thing. Well, the thing says, sir, I thought you were at least a polished speaker. I thought maybe, bare minimum, you'd have that Dr. King energy, a powerful voice, a preacher's cadence, something. But nah, this man pulled up the mic sounding like he just got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. This is how you know they're in trouble. I already didn't trust him because of the sneaky way he snatched that seat, kicking in the door all shady-like. I didn't like how he did it. But now it's even clearer. They thought they were getting away from Tiffany's chaos, but they didn't think about what they were stepping into instead. So here we are, folks. Thornton Township still smelling like a scam, just with a new face on it. Stick around, because the story, it's nowhere near over. So let's get this straight, because I want everyone to really, really hear this and let it sink in. This man, Napoleon Harris, made it into this position, replacing Tiffany Henyard as Thornton Township Supervisor, mostly off the back of the fact that he used to be an athlete. That's it. That's the whole resume sparkle here. He was in the NFL or something, right? That's what we're learning together in real time. He's a former football player turned local political power hoarder. That was enough to get him through the door. Governor, commissioner, supervisor. He's juggling titles like a one-man political circus act. And let's be real, it's definitely not because he's a masterful speaker. The man don't speak good, and I know I'm not the only one who hears it. So what is it then? What's the magic trick that keeps people saying yes to him while they run screaming from the real questions? I'll tell you what it is. People were so desperate to run away from Tiffany Henyard's mess that they never bothered to check what they were running into. Nobody paused long enough to ask what kind of man was waiting behind the door. Once they kicked her out, it's the oldest trick in the book. Distract them with chaos, then slip yourself in while they're too dizzy to look you up and down. And let's be honest, when I tell you these folks are screwed, oh baby, they're screwed. Because here's the thing about Napoleon Harris. He knew exactly how to walk through that door. He knew folks were exhausted by Tiffany's drama, her headlines, the investigations, the credit card receipts, the luxury hotels, the spin, the spectacle. He knew. So he snuck in with a grin and a promise of order. And y'all thought that was going to fix the problem. But let's break it down. His other job, being state senator, that's the secret sauce right there. That's the seat that gave him the leverage to pull this little pay raise hustle in the first place. He's not going to stand there and explain it to you, though. Oh no, he was just hoping none of y'all would notice, hoping you wouldn't Google, wouldn't read the ordinance, wouldn't follow the paper trail. He was counting on people being tired. And when you're tired, you'll believe almost anything. So here's the hustle in plain English. When Tiffany was in that supervisor seat, she was finishing out the old supervisor's term. He'd been there for a decade plus. So naturally, his salary had bloated to over $220,000 a year. Tiffany strolled in and finished the term with the same big paycheck. That's how she ended up rolling around Thornton Township in luxury SUVs, staying in hotels on the taxpayer's dime, and eating filet mignon on a Monday night, while people 2 blocks away are waiting on the food pantry to restock. Now, when Napoleon came in, the rules said his salary was supposed to drop back down to about $57,000. That's the standard base pay for a fresh term. But oh, look what happened. A bill popped up in Springfield, just in time to clarify that the salary couldn't be cut. And guess whose name was on it? Our boy Napoleon Harris. State Senator Harris. Supervisor Harris. Mr. Many Hats Harris. Now, this is where you really need to lean in and listen. The bill he cooked up didn't even pass. It died in Springfield, never became law. But that didn't stop him from standing there with a straight face. Well, mostly straight, telling folks there's an ordinance, there's a law. You can't change the salary, take my word for it. The man literally looked a reporter in the eye and said, I didn't write the law. Then you dig back to the paperwork and it's like, sir, this is literally your bill. And it gets better. They buried it on page 90 of a shell bill that started out about Crohn's and colitis awareness. So basically, they gutted a bill meant to help people suffering from chronic disease and stuffed it full of salary protections for Mr. Many Hats. That's what you call political sleight of hand. That's what you call slippery. And it worked. Well, it worked long enough for him to get the pay bump he wanted. Now he's walking away with Tiffany's old salary, $22,000 plus perks for the supervisor gig, plus $54,000 in expenses, plus his $123,000 Senate paycheck. Do that math. That's nearly $380,000 a year from taxpayers for what are supposed to be part-time jobs. Meanwhile, the township still has families struggling under the poverty line, kids whose schools need repairs, seniors waiting on help that never shows up, Same song, different singer. And what absolutely kills me, is that he didn't even bother to hide it well. He didn't even change the tune. He didn't give people 1 week to breathe, to maybe forget how bad Tiffany was. He didn't slip into the office quietly and build a little trust. He just jumped straight into the same luxury salary pool and did a cannonball. No finesse, no shame, no fresh lyrics. Just the same old backroom nonsense. And he can't even lie good about it. When the cameras are on him, he fumbles. The man can barely string a sentence together when someone asks a direct question. Watching him try to explain this is like watching a bad open mic night at a community college. And what had happened was like, sir, at least lie to me with some conviction. And that's how you know Thornton Township is in danger. This is worse than Tiffany. Yes, I said it, this is worse. Because at least with Tiffany, you knew where the fire was. She was loud. She was flamboyant. She left a trail of receipts that any halfway curious reporter could pick up and drop in your lap. Tiffany was messy, but she was visible. This man, he's slippery. He's dull enough to fly under the radar, but slick enough to do damage anyway. He's sitting there telling you, there's a law. Trust me, you can't look it up. And people are so relieved to see Tiffany gone that they're halfway tempted to believe him. And that right there, that is how the political machine works. This is how so many folks who call themselves Democrats run the same backroom games you'd expect from a cartoonish old-school Republican. They hide behind a party label, count on you to assume they're on your side, and then run the same tired tricks for the same pile of perks. Tiffany did it. Napoleon's doing it. And people are too burnt out to push back. Meanwhile, the same residents forced to subsidize Tiffany's hotel suites are now subsidizing Napoleon's triple paycheck. They swapped out a flamboyant supervillain for a quieter one who can't even talk his way out of a yes or no question. So now you've got the taxpayers of Thornton Township paying nearly $380,000 a year for a man who says, your worth should be evaluated based on what you deliver. Deliver what, sir? You haven't delivered a pizza yet, much less a plan. He's telling you his value is tied to results. But so far, the only result is a fatter bank account for him. And every question gets the same circle talk answer. I wasn't critical of Tiffany. Oh, really? Then what was the whole stunt for? You pulled every shady maneuver in the book to replace her, and now you want to pretend you didn't think she was a problem? Raise your hand if you already kind of miss Tiffany. Be honest. At least she gave us good TV. She was messy, but she had flair. She'd clap back, she'd fight. She'd spin a headline that'd keep you entertained on a slow news day. Napoleon's gonna be boring and shady, the worst combination. And the plot twist? He's gonna be harder to get rid of than she ever was. Because he's quieter, smoother, sneakier. And he's sitting on multiple jobs, multiple pockets of power. Thornton Township. You thought you kicked out the problem, but honey, the call is coming from inside the house now. So here's my final word for today. Buckle up, because this mess, it's just getting started. And you already know I'm gonna be right here to cover every last minute of it. So subscribe, share this with your cousin who thinks politics don't matter, and get ready. Napoleon's about to make my commentary calendar real full. You're in danger, girl, but don't say I didn't warn you. Peace.